Some things in life could be considered miracles. Others could be just considered being in the right place at the right time, and others, I ascribe to luck. Thankfully, it looks like we've had all three in Northern Australia. A Japanese landing force was able to make a beachhead and get into the interior, but they're alone. The supporting fleet was forced to retreat north, driven off by British cruisers and the small Australian Navy. It was decided to let them occupy the hinterland. What are they going to do? The cities, meanwhile, the small towns, are being defended by everyone who can. Anyone who has a rifle or a pistol is taking up positions, and thankfully Angus was able to get to Canberra as soon as possible and frankly chew out the Australian General Staff for even letting the invasion get through in the first place. They whined about not having the Navy, but Angus, ever the blunt fellow that he is, my cousin, decided to just chew them out for the better part of 4 hours, telling them exactly where they went wrong. Finally, the British officer in command there told Angus, just grab whatever men you need and handle it. Angus has been sending me reports and having me pass them along to Admiral Fisher. Supply convoys leaving from Japan are trying to run the gap through Indonesia and reach the small beachheads that are still intact, trying to keep the Japanese troops supplied, but by Angus's own records, the small amount of Japanese that they've captured and the larger forces being bottled up in very uneven terrain for the Japanese, and the best terrain for Angus, the Australians, and whatever other forces he's got under his loose command structure, they're running out of ammo and food quickly. So it looks like the Japanese occupation of Northern Australia is not long for this world, although I imagine more than a few generals are going to be sacked. In other news, it seems that we've lucked out. Formosa and all of Japanese Indonesia has now fallen under our control, but there is one slight issue that has been plaguing the Navy. Ever since Admiral Fisher and I arrived with the fleet of Dreadnought into the Pacific, we found ourselves being harassed by reports from one of the older battleship fleets, constantly whining, if one could put requests for assistance at whining, about a fleet. One very specific fleet, the fleet led by the battleships, what we believe their names are, Hizen and Hatsutse, and an entire escort force, which we believe to be the main part of the Japanese Navy. Plenty of torpedo boats and destroyers. Now, the problem isn't the amount of ships that are facing us, it's the torpedoes. See, most torpedoes that the fleet has right now are only 1.5 kilometer torps. The Japanese have 3 to 5 kilometer torps, meaning that our cruisers, many of which have plenty of torpedo tubes, our destroyers and whatever torpedo boats we have in the area are less, shall we say, up to the task. Which is frustrating for us all, as quite frankly, we are all trying to just keep the fleet away. Thankfully, the officers in charge, including the Admiral, have been very careful not to engage the fleet, always keeping them just within range, where if they decide to attack, they can fend them off, shooting at the larger ships and letting the cruisers try to sink as many escorts as they can. Thankfully, we haven't had to deal with that yet. As for everywhere else, Denmark's navy has been repeatedly battered, and Jutland was a massive victory. I wish I could say it was a total victory, but the Second Battle of Jutland proved that indeed it was a total and complete victory. Nonetheless, we find ourselves now looking at the next target, I suppose. It's difficult to say where we should take our focus next. I've argued for the better part of 4 weeks at this point that we should be focusing on one spot, trying to regain control of the South China Sea. If we can get control of that, the small Chinese allied Commonwealth country, I don't know if you would even call it a colony, in Sarawak province on the island of Borneo, would be effectively cut off should China and the British Empire ever come to blows again, which, with the recent Japanese war, it seems more and more likely to happen. In the meantime, the German alliance is still going strong, and looks like at this rate, and Lieutenant, what are you doing in my office? What do you mean, new battle reports? Just hand me the folder. So, let's see here. Huh. Well, it seems we might have gotten ourselves a lucky break. Thank you, Lieutenant. That'll be all. Dismissed. Did you pass this information along to Admiral Fisher? Okay. Go see the first officer. Tell him exactly what you told me, and have it radioed over to Admiral Fisher immediately. Tell him I'll be on his ship in about 3 hours. Well, it looks like we've got good news. Angus, through sheer trickery or Highland bravery, I can never quite tell with the man, has captured a large force of Japanese troops in northern Australia. And it looks like he's about to get himself a Victoria Cross for his efforts. But in that he found a ledger from a naval attaché to the army troops that he captured. And the naval attaché has a complete list of all the ships in the areas of the South China Sea, up to, I believe, December of what is planned, meaning we have complete eyes on what the Japanese fleet is doing south of Formosa all the way to Indonesia. And along with that are the transport records. The fleet near Sulawesi might have to do a little bit of engagement. Try to raid the transports and stop them from reaching northern Australia. Angus, you bloody madman, I can't believe you actually did it. Well, suppose that if one can trace their ancestry to Robert the Bruce by extension, I suppose a little bit of Highland bravery or stupidity, as sometimes my father would jest, can do one well. And it looks like the Navy is going to be paying more attention to the man who's been arguing that we need a proper marine force. Well, I suppose I should let Admiral Fisher know that we now have in our possession a ledger telling us exactly where the Japanese ships are going to be. We might just be able to get a lucky break and get an arm and reoccupy northern Australia, and then finally force the Japanese ambassadors to the table and finally end this war once for all.